Mr. Lee, how are you doing?
I'm not bad. It's good to see it's actually working. I am getting feedback from you, but you know, hearing myself is not that bad.
Sorry about that. Let me double check my TS settings. Maybe it's a soundboard of mine. So, have you been watching any of the games, or who's won the Grand Prix?
I've not. I've been watching the Monaco Grand Prix. Mark Webber just won it.
All right.
It was a pretty boring race, to be fair. I should have been watching Moscow 5. I caught the end of Moscow 5, and it's good to see them actually back in action because they've had some horrible results lately.
Yeah, they played very, very well.
Definitely getting the double feedback issue. There we go.
Is that resolved?
You seem to have fixed it, or you've muted me. I'm not sure which.
Yes, well, as long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. There we go. So I think it's actually my own sound settings.
You see, now I'm getting nothing back.
Yeah, there we go.
Whether you're talking or not.
It's my own settings. All right, so we're going to go back. Try that. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, that's all good.
There we go. All right, so I have no idea why it's doing that. But anyways, let's give some volume to D-Man as the request. So throw up a little bit of volume on the soundboard. What do you think Fnatic 2-0 XH, HCL and CLG 2-0 to losing 2-0 to Teamless? Both of them in the lower bracket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, interesting. Well, Fnatic doesn't surprise me a great deal. XHCL are a fantastic team. Absolutely brilliant. I'm surprised they haven't sort of broke through a little bit earlier. Fnatic have always had shaky results. Moscow 5, well, we know what they're like. They can pull results out fantastically. But AL versus Navi, I mean, Navi lost to Alternate the other day, I think, pretty heavily.
Yeah.
But yet, AL obviously lost to COG in the finals. Maybe that knocked them a little bit yesterday in the IPL Grand Finals yesterday, or last night 2-1, but it was pretty close. So, I mean, a lot's going to rely on the picks and bans here, and judging by it, Navi have got a pretty nice team.
Well, we're seeing Urgot once again. So we've seen Urgot in both of the previous games for Moscow 5 and Frag Zone. So we're going to be seeing him in this bottom lane, but it's going to be quite strange because that's going to be an AP Cogmore, isn't it? It's going to have to be. Navi Sand and Citizen Wayne will probably pick up the AP Cog. In the bottom lane, potentially Alistair Urgot facing off against Ash Tarek. I quite like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very tanky team. Obviously, AP Cogmore is going to be sat miles away, and he's got all the protection in the world. Urgot's going to be tanky. Cutting X is going to be very tanky on Nautilus. Lanewick is always very tanky, and obviously Alistair in there. So this is a very nice team from Navi that they managed to pick out first. Obviously, we don't know how the bans went in the first one. We've just saw Alex Itch playing a fantastic Lulu in the mid, so maybe that's what's built up to it. Jackson, Karthus, and Shen, they're pretty standard bans, the same along with Ari as well. A very squishy team for Absolute Legends, actually. Twisted Fate in the middle versus Cogmore could be an interesting one. I think Twisted Fate is going to have to get some really good early ganks. They have got the bonus of Ash down the bottom. They've got the double stun at bottom. They've got Nocturne that can come in from long range, and they've got Twisted Fate that could join the party. So they've got a possible 4-man gank down that bottom lane. So that's where they're really going to have to just beat on Urgot, I think.
And if Ash is able to land those crystal arrows once we start hitting the team fight phases, to open up for the ganks, the Ash arrow into Paranoia, it instantly deletes somebody, even if they're tanky. Turning into a 5v4, it could turn the sway of the game once we've lost a few towers and the team start roaming.
Yeah, and Maluna looking like Renekton at top, so that's actually not too bad. A bit of sustain against a Warwick. Warwick's going to be pretty immovable in that top lane, but Renekton's probably going to be about the same. He can even dash away if he gets any need to. But I'm thinking, when it comes to the 5v5 team fights, yes, there's a lot of damage from Absolute Legend here, but they're going to have to snowball a bit because they're going to be weaker in the team fight. There's going to be physically more hit points for Navi. Whether they've simply got the damage to deal out as well, that's the question.
Well, it's definitely going to determine this early game then whether or not Extinct can actually set up those Destiny ganks once he hits level 6. Because if he can start rolling and start running away with it, it might end up looking like something like the OGN network, where Twisted Fates from the Koreans just completely tore everybody apart time and time again. So I'm very excited to see how it happens. All the champions are locked in. We do have a cleanse on Citizen Wayne. And Citizen Wayne is playing Urgot. Okay, there we go. That looked a bit confusing. So there's obviously a swapping problem that's happened. So we're going to do a quick remake. But yeah, that's going to be a cleanse from Citizen. If he's running it cleanse on Cogmore, that's obviously to get away from the gold card.
Yeah, indeed. If he doesn't want to get stunned up in the middle, he's got to be careful of jungler. Obviously, Nocturne's going to come out from long range. So if you can obviously get the kills in the mid, then it's going to be great, because Cogmore, he's going to need to be either camped or something. It's something that Absolute Legends do very well. So they'll camp the top lane very well, or they'll camp a bottom lane. They'll camp one of them. And obviously with Nocturne and Twisted Fate, they can easily do that. So it could be a problem for maybe even Warwick up the top.
Now, do you expect Nocturne to spend most of his focus, most of his attention on that top lane?
Yeah, it's something they do against CLG, etc., which is why CLG always have so many problems with him. They'll camp Wicked. They'll just sit on him throughout the game. And with Nocturne, obviously, you can come in from a very long way away. So you've got a ward sort of even further out. It puts a bit of added pressure on them. Maybe that's why they've gone with Warwick. They're probably expecting that. Maybe they think he can just, lifesteal away and walk off.
Well, going to have to see how it plays out. Going to have to see whether or not these ganks actually get pulled off. And of course, whoever loses this drops to the lower bracket, and they're going to be facing CLG. So there's a lot to play for. If you lose this game and then the following game against CLG, that's it. They're out. They do not qualify for Dreamhack.
People are wondering about your accent. Where exactly does it originate? It's obviously South African, but from where exactly?
Johannesburg, South Africa. But my parents are British. Father's from Northern Ireland and my mother's Welsh. So I've got a little bit of the British tones thrown in there as well. Yeah,
there's a link to yourself and Menace, of course, as well, the Call of Duty forecaster that I work with as well.
Yes, of course. Menace and I, we actually used to live about 40, 50 kilometers from one another, and we attended the same LAN party every month for the better part of 2.5 years. So I know Dennis very well. We've played games, we've competed, we've gone on holiday together in London and whatnot. So, yeah, small world.
Yeah, it was after I think when you'd done your first stream, I happened to be speaking to Menace, and I was like, oh, there's another South African guy. I was like, hang on a minute, I bet you know each other. I mean, I know South Africa is a pretty big country, but how many commentators are there really that come out of there?
Exactly. We actually competed, we weren't in the same group, but we went to Antwerp Esports Festival 2010, and I was playing with the South African team that attended. He was playing for, I can't remember the name, but different groups. We both got knocked out of the group stage, unfortunately. But it's pretty cool. We even attended the EU lands together. So it's a lot of fun. It's
a small world,
It is. It's a small esports world. That's what it is. So we've gone through the bans and picks. You can pretty much ignore what was banned because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The teams are just locking in the champions that they're actually going to be playing. And it's double cleanse. Urgot and Cogmore going to be wearing cleanse. And when you look at the amount of crowd control, it makes perfect sense. Ash Arrow, Gold Card, Dazzle, the Ruthless Predator, and Paranoia with the Fear. It's a lot of lockdown CC from Absolute Legends, which is pretty evenly matched on the other side. Nautilus has got a huge amount of CC. If Nautilus is able to knock up a couple of people and combo it with Sandmanchin's Pulverize, they're going to lock up a lot of Absolute Legends players on one spot.
Yeah, indeed. It's a full CC match, but the question is how much damage can you get burst out, and obviously cleanse is used on the right people. It's interesting how the game flows. Obviously, like bottom now, they've had flash heal. It's probably just been going for about the last 3 months now. It always used to be flash exhaust, and then the heal changed with the masteries, and now a lot of people have started taking cleanse again. It used to be used probably season 1 era. It was pretty heavily used out there. We've been seeing a lot of heals actually used in the top lane as well. Obviously, we don't need that for Warwick. Nezrilas doesn't need that. And in fact, it's Nezrilas 42. It doesn't use that name anymore. I can't understand why.
Yeah, and take a look. The thing that's going to be interesting about that top lane, you mentioned the heal. Young Buck is going to be able to have his way with Warwick up until level 3, 4, 5. That's
it's just changed.
Levels.
There you go.
It has, yes.
Nezrilas just flicks to heal at the last second.
Exactly. But now, the thing about that lane, Young Buck on Renekton is going to have a lot more early pressure. The Slice and Dice, the Ruthless Predator, are going to be able to stay in Warwick's face. And until Nezrilas actually gets either a blue buff or some mana items, something like that, I think Renekton should be able to defeat a Warwick at the lower levels.
Yeah, I mean, a Warwick will struggle until he gets the 3 sort of levels in the Hunger and Strike. He will not be able to sustain against Renekton there, certainly. And it's interesting how Young Buck's progressed through the games, because I've known him from pre-Lowland Lions. I think he attended I-44 maybe. So perhaps they're obviously all jetting off to California, and I guess probably Thursday onwards or something like that. So they're all off to a big tournament. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys over the last sort of, I guess, last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's all been building up to this moment. So this is putting pressure on themselves, because I don't know whether they're going to get a chance to qualify again after this. They're going to have to make this.
Yeah, that's the truth. And then also added to top of that, you've got the IPL 5 qualifiers running at the same time, and so many tournaments, so many things going on. These guys are playing in all these events. Now we're going to see whether or not Absolute Legends can pull this off. Last game in the best of 3.
When's the next qualifiers for this? Because there's a second wave, isn't there?
This for the Dreamhack.
Yeah.
For Dreamhack, this is it. This is the next one. I'll double check with Somi actually. Somi, if you're on stream, give me a message on Skype. When is the next qualifiers? Out of the 8 teams that are here today, only 4 actually qualify for June, and it's the 16th till the 19th. So I think this is the final one. Hey, D-Man.
Ah, well, we'll see. It's good to know, because, I'm there.
Well, it's
But I've kind of been out of the loop a little bit, because I've been so busy with work. I've kind of not been able to follow things. So it's great that you guys have all stepped up while I've been slacking.
Yeah, there we go. So I just got a confirmation from Crepo, from CLG, of course. This is the final qualifier. So the only other qualifier, if you do not make it here today, is an open LAN qualifier. 4 from today's final, and 4 in the actual, bring your own hardware LAN. So, if a team goes out today, the only chance they have is to risk it and attend the LAN and try and make it through the open bracket.
Yeah, and I know Fnatic obviously not qualified through, but I think their manager mentioned that they were going to go to the open if they didn't get through, whereas SK, it seems, will not be. So there's going to be a couple of teams maybe missing there. I don't know. It's good to see, and obviously CLG EU, one of the main ones, like we mentioned, they've gone out, which is a huge shock in itself. So I wonder whether they're going to travel. They're going to have a very busy next few weeks.
Keep in mind, it's double elim, hey? It's double elim. So even though the Fnatic and CLG have lost their first round, there's another round where they have to play. So double elim, best of 3 today.
Ah, I see. Yes. Sneaky loser bracket button.
Yes.
I'm looking at the binary beast now.
Exactly. Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to find that button as well. So we are into the loading screen. I'm going to throw up one quick commercial, and then we'll be back with Navi versus Absolute Legends in 30 seconds. There we go. Now, sadly, not everybody has ad block, so now I get to update my overlays. Yes, so it's double elimination. I think we're only going to play to the semi-finals. I don't believe we're playing all the way through to the finals. But the lower bracket, whoever loses the next one, that's them out. And we are.
So they got Gaming Optimus.
Yep, that's it. So the loser of this game is going to be facing CLG, and that's going to be a huge match. The loser of that goes out. They don't make it. I have to ask your opinion. What do you think of Nezrelis' skin on Warwick?
Oh, that's the hyena, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I prefer the good old Urgot thing from a long time ago. It cost 1 RP. Oh, Antigin has just had to flash away down that bottom line. Youngbuck's trying to catch onto him. Just going to see what Youngbuck took, actually. He did go for Ruthless Predator, so he could have caught in that.
Oh, very lucky. Smart from Antigen to know flash immediately. Don't wait. Don't give it a chance. Just immediately get away and get to safety. But a very aggressive Absolute Legends.
Very aggressive indeed. So let's give a quick rundown as they are going to posture the way around. Looking like Navi are going for an invade of their own. So AL are in full on in the bottom jungle of Navi at the moment. So for Navi, it's going to be Sam Mansion. He will be Alistair. You can see laying out the wards on that top lane at the moment. And he's going to port back. So he's given a good bit of cover there for Nezrelis to maybe invade in a short while. Konex will be joining him down that bottom lane on Nautilus. Nezrelis will be up the top on Warwick, who's just going to have to back away from Maluna and Youngbuck here. Just about keeping away in time there. Citizen Wayne, has he got the slow? No, he's not leveled up anything yet, so he's just waiting to see whether he needs to. Citizen Wayne, he has been one of the strongest AP sort of players in, I guess, in Europe, I guess, up there. He's definitely up there alongside Frog, and I'd put him up there, and Pharrell and Lord, etc. There's some very strong AP mid players within Europe at the moment, and Antigen down the bottom line is going to be Urgot, as we've already covered. It is very strange for me. I do hear myself back in this, so apologies if I hesitate now and again.
I wish I knew what the cause was.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just feeding through. That's fine. I can live with it. It's going to be Slepper and Zinnik down that bottom lane. It will be Ash and Tariq. You can see Tariq looking like, is he going to ward up the Tribush? Yes, he will. It's going to cover off. So they're not really, after all that massive invade, they didn't cause any problems for Cotton at all. They didn't leave any wards. Nothing really to see what was happening there. So Youngbuck will be up the top. He is going to be on Renekton versus Nezreal. And as you mentioned, he's going to harass him very much early on in the first few levels. Meanwhile, Citizen Wayne needs to be careful of these wild cards and stuns that come out from Extinct in the early few levels. Doesn't want to leave anything. Just wants to sit and hold off until he can get that ult and just spam him from long range.
Well, they did manage to steal the blue buff. So at least Maluno managed to walk out of there with a stolen blue buff from Cotton X. And it's pretty powerful at early stages because Nautilus really relies on those abilities to farm effectively. He doesn't have the innate passive that Nocturne does with those Umbra Blades, and without being able to spam that Titan's Wrath and Riptide, it slows his jungle down quite a bit. Whether or not that's going to affect Cotton X once he tries to start ganking, that remains to be seen.
And Maluno just wasting his time a little bit in that top lane. Obviously that ward that was put down early by Alistar, definitely covering it off, so Nezreal being wise, just sitting on the turret, losing a little bit of CS to that turret, but nothing too serious. Meanwhile, down the bottom, they've locked on towards Slepper, putting a bit of damage down into him. Can he get another shot? Yes, he can. That's a nice chunk of damage on Slepper. That's going to force him to be a bit more defensive for the next few minutes. And once again, he's going to keep pushing that lane. He wants to just force him back. And really, the ping's going down. They have full coverage of Maluno, so they know exactly his positioning in the jungle. Is Kotenex just going to go back? Yes, he is. He's going to buy. What is he going to pick up? Just a Regrowth Pendant. Is he going to wait for another pop? Looks of it. Just delaying himself. And it's what do you make of the new shopkeeper?
I love the new shopkeeper. I love the fact he's got the Infinity Edge on his back. I just think it looks really, really cool. I read a couple of great posts on Reddit saying they should turn the old shopkeeper into a champion. Yeah. Give him sort of gold-based abilities, or throwing items at people. I hope Riot do something like that, because that would be awesome.
He's got the Teemo hat as well, hasn't he?
Yep, exactly. And the graphics update, do you like it? Do you dislike it? I think the new textures are awesome. It really gives the game a lot more depth.
Yeah, it kind of needed it. It was looking a little bit dated. It's definitely made it. It's still cartoony in a way, but it's a good cartoony. I think Blizzard would be proud of it.
Exactly. I like it. The reason I prefer this to some of the other MOBAs that are out there, it's not beige and brown, and it doesn't suffer the same graphic boring that every other game has. I like it to be a bit more fantasy and a bit flashier, if that's the best way to put it. But a 500 gold advantage already for Absolute Legends, and that's at the 5-minute mark, just from CS alone.
An interesting verse back by Nezreal there. He's got a double cloth armor, and a ward obviously wants to place out further on down the bottom. They're going to dive up towards Slepper there. Alistar manages to get a catch, and Nautilus, it will be first blood. Very nicely done. I don't think Slepper really know what hit in there. Massive combo, and well, we did mention Cotton X had gone back, and I thought he might well return there. Nezreal, meanwhile, at the top is going to go face check straight towards Maluno. Fear proc will go off, but I don't think they're going to have enough damage. He'll just walk away from that one. As mentioned, he did just buy a double cloth armor, so he's going to be very tanky for a short while.
Well, he needed to survive, and that's eventually going to work towards a Frozen Heart anyway, so it's not like it's putting him behind on his build. But just Maluno is still hanging around in this top lane, and Nezreal is maybe not aware of it. So if they can get another Fear proc and Stun proc, maybe have enough damage. The Ignite is available for Young Bucks, so that'll cancel out or at least reduce the effectiveness of that Hungering Strike and the heal. But it depends how long Maluno's going to stay here, because he's been here for a long time. Still hiding, still waiting. And then once again, Nezreal's walked straight into Maluno, and the Fear proc doesn't really help Maluno out too much. Spell Shield goes down, blocks the Hungering Strike, so no additional hit points for Nezreal, but all that's happened is Maluno's delayed himself by a minute.
And the ping just went down on the enemy wraiths as well. So where they were saying Citizen maybe go and try and steal these while he's just took one of his own wraiths. Actually, it's going to be Nautilus. There you go. You can see him heading straight towards there. They knew Maluno wasn't around there. Ooh, Extinct could get caught there. Is he going to go for it? Cotton, yeah, he thought about it, but instead he's had to back away. Citizen Wayne's just like, no, I need to go by. I've only got boots. He's got no AP really at the moment, so he's just going to go make a first back. Possibly he's going to go straight tier. Yep. So it's working out well for Navi in the first few levels at the moment. We mentioned that the ganks that AL kind of need to make, it's not working out just yet.
Oh, very, very true. First Blood has gone the way of Na'Vi, whether or not they can carry on converting those kills with the crowd control that they have. And maybe we're going to see Cottonex camping that bottom lane a little bit more. You know, the power of Alistair, but we do have pressure now on the top lane. Destiny's coming forward. There's the stun onto Cottonex with the wild cards. Auto attacks have gone out. Titan's Wrath not enough to save his life. And are they going to turn their attention to Nezra as he gets stunned up under the tower? Dusk Bringer plus one more auto attack. And the AoE from Dominus manages to pick up that kill. But wow, Absolute Legends turning it around with a great double kill.
Yeah, it's almost on cue, as we mentioned, they need to get some ganks.
Exactly.
Sidson Wayne keeping a good eye on there. Don't know when they realise Sam Mansion's around here. He could definitely disrupt things. They're going to go for that blue buff. They need to try and interrupt this one because Sidson Wayne really wants to have this, but I got a feeling Extinct is going to be the one that's going to pick it up. He will take it. Oh, it went to Maluna. I think Extinct could have done with picking that up. Not to worry, he can take his own though. He can just back away. He's actually happy to try and take on Sidson Wayne. That may be a problem. Gets the slow. Then just will back away from that one. So very nice invade from Absolute Legends, following up off of a double gang.
What I liked about that as well, the combination was great because Paranoia wasn't even used by Maluna. I don't even think he had it. I think he was sitting level 5. He was just following Nautilus up, just running up with him, and you could clearly see the calling, you know, go, 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 push, push, push. Extinct moved forward, he used that Destiny to get up into range, you know, get close enough to port in, landed outside of turret range, and completely locked him up with a stun. Once the picker card was available again, they locked Nezrillis up under the tower, and it was a great communication, a great combination of abilities between the Absolute Legends players. If they can keep doing that now, if Extinct and now that Paranoia is available for Maluna, if they can keep comboing those, Na'Vi could start to fall behind, but if they don't fall behind too far, once their champions start getting a bit more tankier, Warwick and Antigen get a little bit more unkillable, it's going to balance it out in the mid-game.
Well, looking, apparently the score's wrong.
It is. My overlay says 1-0 when it should say 1-1. Sorry about that.
That's
there
all right.
we go.
No problem.
Now the score is fixed. Now the score is fixed. Thank you, guys. I read quite a few messages regarding lag. If you guys are having issues with lag, just message it up on chat there. I am keeping an eye on it. But try to drop your settings.
720p plus was a little bit slow. I dropped it to 720. It was perfectly fine.
Wow, there we go.
So it's all good. Just need to sort of cycle through. This is things that these people tell me when I'm at events. Oh, the Ash arrow going up towards the top while they take the blue buff. Where is that arrow? It might well hit straight on towards him. Yes, he will.
It does.
Very nice arrow. Also, Nezrillas there. Very well timed. Beautiful gang works from AL. We just mentioned their teamwork, and that's about as good as it gets.
That was a long-range Ash arrow. That was from all the way down bottom right-hand side from the interior turret. So with that kill now, Na'Vi, they're going to try and take this dragon. And I think if Citizen Wayne can get up there, they may have enough DPS. But unfortunately, a 4-man Absolute Legends forces them backwards. And what an arrow. Nezrillis was, freezing his lane up in that top there like he should do. Holding it in place, not allowing the creeps to push to your tower. But Slepper with an amazing arrow. And if he can keep landing those ones, that might be very problematic for Na'Vi.
And Youngbuck working hard at that top turret. It's just down to 83 hit points now. So he may well get that first turret down early. So despite the fact Na'Vi trying to push for that dragon, they have lost out quite heavily. And obviously Warwick going down to that from downtown arrow, as it were, they'd say in the old basketball terms. But where is Youngbuck now heading off to? This looks like he... Oh no, he's just going to purely ward up. I thought he might well head down for that dragon. But he's going to play it safe. So 3-1. Gold advantage obviously going towards Absolute Legends. How's the CS looking between the two? The bottom lane, we've obviously seen Urgot been pressuring, but you can see he's losing out. He's ahead in CS, but he's losing out in terms of kills. He's not been able to get anything. We haven't seen Nocturne down this bottom lane yet. Is he going to be heading down there? I think he may well do. So could possibly see a gank down the road. You can see Cottonex is sat ready and waiting in that bush.
Cottonex has been in the bush for quite a while. The Hawk shot actually went out from Slepper, and I don't know if Na'Vi didn't hear it or didn't realize it, but they had full vision. They knew that Cottonex was there, and he's only just recalled now.
He's delayed a lot of time there. Has bought an Oracle actually on the back, so we'll keep an eye whether he makes that pay. Hasn't used it yet, but it's looking like it's shaping up for a dragon here, Absolute Legends. Renekton down here. Warwick is a long way away. I don't think they're going to do anything about this. I think this could well be a free one.
Yeah, they're out of position. They don't have the ability to close the gaps. And the fact that Maluna will just be able to pop that paranoia at, you know, a moment's notice. There's a stun into Citizen Wayne. He immediately cleanses out of it, but yeah, slice and dice into Ruthless Predator is going to be able to land. The Ash Arrow just misses, and the Wild Cards picks it up through the wall. But wow, Slepper almost landing that Ash Arrow all the way down from bottom lane. Great play there in the middle lane. So they pick up Dragon, they pick up another kill, and now Na'Vi 4,500 gold behind. It's looking scary. It's looking like the snowball is starting to pick up pace, starting to pick up some speed, and they're going to have to start pulling it back. You know, give away less kills, farm up a little bit more tankability items, and then try to set up some more ganks. You know, Cotton X had a very good first blood, but has not been able to follow up since then.
Yeah, and the full invades on as well. Absolute Legends just taking the wolves, leaving a little one sat there, looking like they're sat ready for the blue again. Just seen Sand Mansion warding up, but there's a pink ward there, so they could clear that one out straight away. And there is the blue buff just spawning. Question is, will they be able to oppose it? You can see Extinct coming round. Renekton is just above. Looking like Cogmore's thinking about maybe intervening. Nesrilas, you do not want to walk into that bush, and Youngbuck is going to force him back. And again, that is the second blue buff. This time has gone across to Extinct. They're going to try and dive on towards Zinnik down the bottom. I think he's just going to back off from this one wisely. You can see that Cotton X was trying to come around. But yeah, wisely just backing away. Absolute Legends, you know, we've talked about these teams. I talk about it with Joe all the time. It's like the difference between the very great teams and the good teams. Absolute Legends I would put as a very great team. So once they get that advantage, they are in your face the whole time, and we're seeing it with this blue buff steal constantly already.
The two blue buffs for 2. The first one went to Maluna. This next one, or this previous one, went to Extinct. And when you're playing against, now we got pressure in this middle lane. Cotton X is being caught out. The Fear proxy gets stunned by the gold card, but a brilliant infinite duress from Nesrelas does manage to actually pick up a kill onto Nocturne. So what looked like a gank for against Na'Vi is now gone against Absolute Legends. Nesrelas has taken a lot of damage, and if we can get another gold card from Extinct, the flash gold card lands, as well as the Ash Arrow almost coming in the background there. Cogmore's going to farm up a few creeps with that Ikithian surprise. 1-for-1 trade in the end, but nicely done by Nesrelas. Coming in there, he locked up Renekton with the infinite duress, I believe it was. Or no, it was Nocturne, sorry. Locked him up, prevented that attack damage, managed to give Cotton X some time to get away, but unfortunately still lose their solo mid, and they lose a tower now as well. Or potentially.
Well, they lost the bottom tower as well, so they've sort of evened up the test. They couldn't quite get that. 271 hit points left, so it's going to go shortly. But Urgot did manage to take that bottom tower down while all that was going on, so Slepper has been forced back, but Slepper got a BF sword now, whereas Antigon's still just not gone back yet. Let's have a look at the gold reserves. Yeah, 2,500 on Antigon. So Renekton also 2,500. He's just been back to buy something fat, and he's got that Hex Drinker phase just got in there, brutalized as well, so he is going to hurt right now, Youngbuck. Once he manages to get on you, I don't think you're going to escape. It's going to be very sticky. Slepper's going to continue pushing this bottom lane, and as I mentioned, it has been back to buy that BF sword, so he's going to be doing a lot more damage now as we move into team fights. And this is actually playing very well for Absolute Legends. We talked about how they need to get their ganks. They have to do that damage early on, and it is working out very well. They've managed to get those pokes. They've pushed the right towers. I thought Zinnik was going to go straight towards Sand Mansion there.
I was watching it as well. Anticipating the bull. But take a look at the top lane farm. 106 for Youngbuck to 60 on Nesrelas. And not only is it a 50 CS difference,
top lane
302. Now Youngbuck is going to be committing. There goes the Ruthless Predator attacking. Just Cull the Meek and backs off, opting not to use that slice and dice to close the gap. And Youngbuck just opting to take the farm instead of going for a kill.
Yeah, blue buff has also just been picked up. This time it went across to... I didn't see who it went to, actually. Must have gone Twisted Fate. Where is he just gone down to? Down the bottom there. Cleanse was used wisely there. And that was why they had to pick it up early on. But I think they're going to take this bottom tower. There's a 4-man push down here. Citizen Wayne is going to join them. Sand Mansion coming down as well. They have managed to ward the Tribush. And they've forced AL to back off. They're going to try and catch on towards Extinct. Coating Eggs grab onto him. He's got that Oracle. Doesn't want to go too deep. And yeah, it misses the anchor there.
Great damage from Citizen Wayne.
You can see that coming out, yeah. So that's immediately Citizen Wayne. Once he managed to go back and buy, he's only got a blasting with an amplifying tome. So you can see how dangerous he's going to get if he starts getting fed.
Now the Dragon should be up shortly within the next couple of minutes. It looked as though Absolute Legends were floating around the Dragon pit there. You know, they didn't want to push down the tower. We started falling back, but Dragon's still about a minute or 2 minutes away. And Navi are going to have to pick that up. They're falling further and further behind on gold. Still 5,000, or 4.5, 5,000 on gold. And at the 15, 16, or 17 minute mark rather, that's a noticeable difference, especially when you consider your tanky DPS top lane is not very tanky and he's not able to put out a lot of damage right now. They do manage to pick up a tower in the middle lane, so at least that's 2 towers for 2. And that's still, it's a big, big difference right now. And Navi, they cannot afford any more mistakes.
Absolutely, it's the pressure's on them, but absolute legend. Neither team really want to face CLG in the lower bracket. It would not be a pleasant experience. Actually, saying that, I don't think CLG have quite made it yet. They've got to beat another team in front of them, but we're getting a bit presumptuous there. Maybe they're going to dive on and to get it down the bottom there. Urgot is going to get feared. Is the rest of the team going to join? Well, they're just going to purely force him away. They will try and pick up the kill. Twisted Fate's going to come in and will steal the kill, or secure it, as a lot of people like to say.
It's kill secure. With that many abilities being used, you don't want him running away. Look at the farm though, 148 to 177. So in terms of just CSing, Citizen Wayne is doing better than Extinct, but no dragons, no kills or assists, and Dragon respawns, they pick it up, another one going the way of Absolute Legends.
It's going to be a pretty easy dragon for them, and they have to continue on their farm. And Citizen Wayne just taking it back, and has got 2k on him, so I guess he's possibly going to complete the Rider Scepter and go about his business. But that gold advantage continues for Absolute Legends. 6k now, obviously, with that dragon. Are they going to be able to dive on towards Sandmansion down the bottom here? Quick shot.
It looks like it. A 4-man setting up. Tarek's just going to get in forward to range. Gold card's been selected. Now, Navi does have an Indomitable Will, so he's just going to pop that. Break the stun, at least. He did pick up a fear. So 4-man, they're just going to be happy with the tower. 150 gold for each of the champions, and actually forced backwards. But now on the top lane, we do have Cottonex and Citizen Wayne moving forward. Youngbuck, Citizen Wayne's going to be careful, because if Youngbuck dives onto him, he should be able to put a lot of damage. There goes the Dominus. The slow coming out from that Voidooz is huge. It's like a spell shield being popped or something similar. Titan's Wrath, he's managed to take one with the Dominus. The Infinite Duress has managed to catch hold Youngbuck in place, but not before Nautilus goes down.
Bottom lane.
Now the bottom lane goes out. The stun lands onto Sand. He gets blown up. We just managed to flick over there. Was that an Ash Arrow?
That was an Ash Arrow, yeah. But that top lane's a 1-for-1 exchange. It actually went really well for Absolute Legends because they took the Oracle down off Nautilus. So, I mean, it's just crazy why he even got involved. He should have got in there, got the stun, and just backed straight to the turret. But instead, they are going to lose 2 turrets down the bottom purely for that one gank attempt.
The position reverser comes up, but that looks like it was spell shielded from Maluno. And that is a huge, huge play. The position reverser definitely started. I'm actually going to rewind that very, very quickly and just watch the animation, because Antigen moved forward. He started it on Maluno.
Did, yeah.
And here goes the Terra Capacitor. One more Acid Hunter lands. Maluno, there goes the spell shield, followed up. Wow, that is huge, because that would have been a kill onto Maluno for sure. So we're fast forwarding with directed camera. Have we missed anything in 10 seconds, D-Man?
No, because I reversed back as well.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So back up to real time.
Just watching Extinct dodging the artillery shells from Citizen Wave here. Can he manage to finish him off? He just needs one more. The blue box not going to give it him, though.
Not enough mana. So close. Now, another interesting thing, I'm not 100% sure if you're aware. Athene's Unholy Grail and Darius are insta-banned from every single game. Every single game. They are not allowed to be built and not allowed to be selected. So the only reason I point that out, it would have been particularly powerful on Citizen Wayne playing AP Cogmore. The mana regen is huge.
He's just banned from the competition here for Dreamhack competition.
Correct.
Or the qualifiers.
For the qualifiers, sorry. Yeah, for the qualifiers, because of course the patch just came out on Thursday?
Midway through, yeah.
Yeah, midway through the week. So admins and players, they all agreed that, Darius may be a little bit OP in that top lane at the moment. Not enough time to play with him or play against him. So group agreement, and it's not in play. So for the first time now, Na'Vi look like they're going to move into the Absolute Legends jungle. They've lost that Oracles. They also don't necessarily have the strongest ward coverage, but now they're going to steal the blue buff. So this is going to go to Citizen Wayne. He does pick it up. That refreshes his blue buff. And at least it allows them... Now, Destiny has been used from Twisted Fate. We've got 5-man Na'Vi all grouped up. Guardian's Angel has been completed on Nezrelas. And a very, very nice Ash Arrow goes forward. It lands onto Sand Mansion, though. He doesn't even need to use his Indomitable Will. Does use it right at the end. Dominus has been used by Youngbuck. Position Reverser pulls Nocturne in and amongst everybody. Their focus is still on Alistar, but they cannot manage to get Youngbuck down. Infinite Duress in the background is going to be the first one to fall. Actually, it is Alistar. Finally, Youngbuck goes down. Then followed up by Urgot in the background. Double kill for Twisted Fate. Nezrelis is now going to get his Guardian's Angel procced. And Absolute Legends just not tanky enough to survive the damage and not enough focus to blow up a champion once they commit to a fight. They tried for so long to take out Young Bucks Renekton, and it just allowed Slepper and Extinct to deal all the DPS they want to do from the background.
Yeah, and that's a questionable bit of a team focus there. Why would you go for Renekton with an ulti on while there is a Extinct and Slepper who are far squishier and dealing out far more damage? But it's one of those issues like you hit what you can get near, and you got to wonder why Citizen Wayne certainly wasn't targeting towards him. He probably was, honestly. I didn't see which one Nezrelis actually focused on, whether with his ulti. I didn't see who managed to get Infinity Duress on. Was it on Renekton?
It wasn't Renekton. As he escaped, he was moving over to the right-hand side, just behind the red buff area. And as soon as he got to the grass, managed to get ultied, survived the full duration of Infinite Duress, managed to get off one of his slice and dices to almost escape, and only then went down to a Hungering Strike. So not only did he survive the entire focus, but he survived a full duration ultimate and, one extra auto attack. That more of Malmortius, that magic shield is so powerful against Nezrelis, Citizen Wayne, and Cottonex, the amount of magic damage that's coming out.
That's it, but he's just not someone you focus on. It's standard tactics. Go for the squishy jumps, but I guess they simply couldn't get near, and they were focused on. And I guess that answers the question. We talked about how tanky they are, whether they'd be able to survive the big team fights. I was just about to talk about it before the fight happened, actually, and I thought it was a bad call for Absolute Legends to engage, but obviously they feel they are strong enough, and it kind of proved it. So Infinity Edge now on Ashe, so Ashe is going to be very strong. Slepper in that mid lane, looking like he's going to build up towards a Zeal next as well. We've got Rabadon's Death Cap completed, and the Sheen on a 5-0 for Extinct, who I believe is missing the Reign of Gaming tournament, but will make it for MLG.
Wow, okay. So that's going to be powerful. Who are they getting to replace him then in the mid lane?
I've heard rumours to St. Vicious maybe, but I'm not too sure because Curse are not going to Reign of Gaming.
And the Ashe Arrow manages to land.
Ashe Arrow will manage to get in there. It's going to be the Fear Proc as well. Going towards Antigone. Nezrelis actually did manage to ulti in there. Will get knocked back. This is going to go horribly wrong for Navi again, but the engage only gave 1 kill.
Oh, 2 in the bin.
Oh, no.
How did? Okay, wait.
Didn't see how he died there.
I've got to rewind. We've got to rewind this one. How did Twisted Fate manage to go down? So we're now back up to normal time. Directed camera is on. So the arrow manages to land on Antigen. Ooh, we've got some lag on the server here. So Cogmore, I'm keeping a close eye on Cogmore. Destiny goes out. Oh! Extinct dived onto Citizen Wayne in and around the red buff. And with that Bioarcane Barrage and the Living Artillery, it was enough to actually pick up that kill. So bonus gold does go the way of Citizen Wayne at least. And that would be a 500 bonus. I've got my chat disabled. Ooh, sounds like we may have lost D-Man. Are you still there?
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
it would have been a bit of bonus. I was watching what was happening. They've managed to pick up Dragon as well, Absolute Legends, while they backed off from that top fight. So continuing their gold advantage. And now we can just see 10k, 10.5k ahead in gold now. So huge advantage. Looking across the players, you can see 10,000 gold for Extinct now in the middle there. So he's got a 2k gold advantage over his mid partner, which immediately equates to a huge item when he's got that Lich Bane complete, and that is going to hurt.
And the gold difference is just so massive. Have a look at how it actually looks on the carries. 8,000 gold for Ashe to 6,500 on Urgot. Top lane, 5,000 for Nezrelis to 9,600 on Youngbuck. 4k gold. I mean, that's an Infinity Edge and more of Malmortius. That's a huge difference. And it just looks like Absolute Legends, it's their game to lose now. They're in control of the map. They're in control of the team fights. Cottonex, he's picked up another Oracle's Elixir. He hasn't drank it just yet. And when you're sitting 2-2-2, you've lost an Oracle's already. You're so far behind. 2 towers, several dragons, and they can't win a straight-up team fight. It's looking shaky for Natus Vencia.
It is, and it's interesting to hear you use the full name as well, because you very rarely hear that these days. It's always just been Navi.
I like it. I like their names, so I like to throw it out there.
I mean, obviously they're world renowned. They've got a fantastic character. Oh, the Ashe Arrow going to miss actually on towards Connex. They're trying to get on toward that Oracle. The stun card will go through, but he's managed to get away through that wall just about in time. And they've also obviously got the World Championship Dota 2 team, who's going to be representing shortly, I believe, in Seattle. But looking like Navi going to try and engage for this one. I'm not too sure it's the right move. They can try and get on towards Maluna there. Nezrillas does suddenly get a peek. He would have been completely out of vision there. They are going to get a fear proc. Now they're going to dive in. Extinct actually coming around the backside. His damage is kind of missing in the fight for the moment. Youngbuck is going to dive on towards Nezrillas. Finally, Antigone will be targeted. The position reverser may well help him get away from this fight. He does manage to flash away as well. Gets the lock on towards Youngbuck. Still nobody going down. Finally, a death goes down. It is the support player. Now Nezrillas is going to drop. Antigone drops, and suddenly they all fall like dominoes for Navi. Cottonex is going to try and get away, but I think Maluna has just enough to tower dive and finish him off. And the ace comes out from Absolute Legends. Really great surprise there. I don't. They're going to take Baron now, but if you want to rewind it, I got a feeling they were just hidden out of vision in that start.
Well, I do a quick rewind to the game. So here we go. This is the fight. They're hiding just there to the right of the wall, pretty much. Yep, the lack of vision. Nezrillas moves forward, sees everybody, and immediately backs off. Immediately backs off. So great fight going the way of Absolute Legends. They pick up a team ace. The focus from Navi as well just wasn't there. You know, they didn't pick up a single champion. They didn't manage to blow anybody up from AL. Slepper, I don't think, took a single point of damage. And it's resulted in them picking up... Do they manage to get the inhibitor? No, they just take the tower and fall backwards.
Yeah, they was kind of split what they were going to do, because two of them started Baron, two of them went to a tower. So they're kind of bit of incommunication maybe in Absolute Legends, but nevertheless they are coming out very well. Oh, and Nezrillas has actually started the Baron here. Navi wants to take the Baron. Two of them haven't backed yet, but unfortunately, and look, for Absolute Legends they have. And there's a few members that have just come back and bought a lot more items, and Navi are going to have to peel this one very early on. Yeah, there's no way they should stick around, and wisely backing off. And I think that may go... I think it's Zinnek and Maluna. Yes, so Maluna really can't get involved in that fight. He has to go back and buy.
And they dealt so little damage. I mean, they were beating on Nasher for quite a while, and they only managed to take off about 3,000 hit points of damage. You know, relatively speaking, they don't have the fastest Baron team. Bio Arcane Barrage will be hitting pretty hard, but it's capped versus monsters, the damage. Urgot's not necessarily the highest DPS. Yeah, you've got that Hunter's Call from Warwick as well, which will help a little bit, but they're not a very fast Baron team. Compare that to, you know, the DPS that Renekton, Nocturne, and Ashe can put out, you know, sustained constant DPS, the Lichbane burst that Twisted Fate has, and they're going to be able to just completely melt Baron Nashor as soon as they decide to actually go for it.
I'm just thinking back how great it is that Twisted Fate's back in the fold. I mean, I'm thinking back to 2010, the World Cyber Games finals, when it was SK versus COG, and SK used it in the, I think it was the first or second game, can't remember which one, but they just surprised North America, completely written off Twisted Fate. And the fact that Asia are all using it so huge again now, it went through nerfs, it was the ultimate split pusher, they've nerfed his ulti, but he's still back and he's at 617, he's such a strong champion again.
The way that the metagame has changed as well, that teams are trying a little bit different tactics, different styles in terms of the team fights. You know, 6-8 months ago, it was all about the burst. You know, double AP, blow somebody up, and whoever blew the other team up the quickest would win the fights. Now we've transitioned into the sort of tanky DPS meta, and the split pushing is just so powerful. You know, Twisted Fate Shen can literally single-handedly win games by effective split pushing, controlling the lanes, and keeping your opponents defending from the super creeps.
Yeah, and CLG have got a lot to blame for that one. They are the ultimate split pushers when it comes to Shen. It's good to see how that all changes. We did get a glimpse of them last night with Hotshot in the jungle, actually beating out St. Vicious as well, which is a very interesting one. That was in the solo mid-tournament if you missed it. Meanwhile, you can see Extinct is about to show himself down this bottom lane. So will Navi take that as their cue to maybe try and push and force a Baron? Obviously, Extinct can travel the map only about half a distance as like he used to be able to. He used to be full-on global. Are they going to go for it? No, they're sort of split, and Citizen Wayne is actually going to go deal with this wave down the bottom instead.
Somebody has to go backwards. Now, with Twisted Fate being down in that bottom lane, if you can keep Citizen Wayne there, or keep at least some members of Na'Vi, one of them to defend the inhibitor, defend the turrets, it's going to allow them to get a free Baron. You know, Hawkshot has gone out from Slepper. They've cleared out the wards, complements of the Oracle's Elixir and Zinnik. And there we go. You know, Na'Vi are falling back. The Hawkshot revealed that. And are they going to start it? That's the question. But I mean, 20,000 gold lead at 30 minutes. They've got 7 towers down, multiple dragons. And look at the bait coming out. There comes the Destiny. Where is it going to land? Ash Arrow lands onto Nezreal's there in the background. He instantly gets blown up. I don't think he's got his Guardian Angel. The depth charge knocks up a whole bunch of champions along the way. Position reverser just delays the inevitable, and Antigen just goes down. And an easy fight for Absolute Legends.
Yeah, Nezreal absolutely melted there when he got caught in between them, trying his best to do the damage, but again, there's quite a lot more damage for Absolute Legends. They will strip this down. They're going to peel off there. They're going to try and catch on towards Citizen Wave. Slepper hasn't used his arrow, I don't believe. Yes, he did. He must have used it earlier on. Completely sucking rubbish. He's eaten a lot of damage from Citizen Wave here.
Yes.
He will get shut down. A great little steal from Citizen Wave. Cleanses it off. Can do a lot more damage here. Baron was picked up.
He's run out of mana though. Citizen cannot spam.
Yeah, he's got no more mana, but Cotnex has got his ulti. If he could just try and delay it a little bit, he could maybe dive on towards them. No, he's just going to have to try and play positional control. Try and force him off. Citizen Wave does pick up another kill. Meanwhile, coming in the back there is Sand Mansion. Do manage to catch on towards Extinct. Cotnex finally does get the kill there. Extinct surely going to go down as my doorbell is fiercely ringing. Sand Mansion will pick up the kill, and wow, Navi turned round a fight they should never have won.
Great turnaround there. Another, once again, Citizen Wayne picking up some vital kills. That's going to give him some additional gold. I don't know if there was a killing spree on TF that was, give him any bonuses there, but great play from Citizen Wayne. He juked so many of those abilities. He cleansed the Taric stun, then managed to, pick up the kill onto Ash, managed to make it all the way back to his side of the jungle. That Voidy's applying the slow and just keeping Absolute Legends a little bit slowed down, a little bit on the back foot. And Na'Vi pick up a dragon. Gives them an extra 1,000 gold, but they're in trouble. I mean, 20,000 gold is the difference. They're not necessarily completely out of this game. If they can keep picking off some kills like they're picking off some stragglers, blowing up somebody or managing to turn team fights in their favor, maybe they can pull themselves back into this. They've only got the one inhibitor turret down. The real sort of death sign is once you lose two. If there's two going. But I did notice, or I didn't actually even notice, in the background, Absolute Legends managed to pick up the Baron buff. And that's huge. So is that your pizza arriving, D-Man?
No, it's my friend that's arrived. I'm cooking Sunday dinner, we're going to go full on UFC. That was on last night, but no spoilers please, people.
Alright, fantastic. So we're keeping an eye now on, I'm just having a look on chat. I was looking at whether or not we had lag issues or whatnot, but for the most part it appears it's just Twitch. Just the way it works. Yeah, just problems, the usual stuff, refresh your stream, drop the quality settings, or do something similar like that.
Rotate through all the settings. People are becoming experts on these things.
Yeah, exactly.
But nevertheless, we are nearly 20k difference between these two teams. So still, despite the fact they just kind of won out pretty well in that fight, I think Absolute Legends have to throw this fairly hard. And for Navi, it's going to be down to they have to win out one of those Baron fights. That's always the big thing that turns it round in League of Legends. But needs to continue dodging the poke there from Cogmore as well. Citizen Wave. But meanwhile, you can see Extinct is pushing down that mid lane. There's a big wave down that bottom lane, but Citizen Wave is going to continue pushing it in. Or sorry, Extinct. Conex though could get caught out here. Will the Ash Arrow maybe dive onto him? Yes, he will. Oh, just missed by Conex. I think he backed away from that without even realizing that it was coming there. And they will just back away. Zinnek is also going to get locked on, but he's going to back off without too much damage going down on him. And again, they try to continue to poke. Guardian Angels now on Nezreal has popped back up. Whether it's going to be that much use, though, because every time he's died, he's been straight in amongst 5 of them, and he's really not had any chance.
Now, interesting to look at the moment, even though the gold difference is super high, take a look at the builds and the focuses. In terms of Taric, he's got his Zeke's Herald completed, Shirelia's Reverie. The Zeke's is so powerful for his lineup. Nocturne, Renekton, Twisted Fate, and Ash, they all benefit from that lifesteal and the bonus attack speed. In reply, Alice does support. The only thing he's sitting on is the GP5s. No Shirelli is completed, no Zeke's, there's no other aura items. Nautilus has managed to complete his Aegis of the Legion and Shirelli's Reverie. But the big difference, the towers, the dragons, Taric is doing a lot more for his team than he is in comparison for Alistar. And combine that with, Radiance, which gives 25 AD and 25 ability power to every single member of their team. The team fight potential for Absolute Legends is just so strong. Na'Vi have to catch somebody off or out of position, in order to win anything. Catch them out of position, kill somebody quickly, and then fight 4v5. Or 5v4 rather.
The damage they've got as well is enormous. This is what we talked about. We weren't sure whether the tanky team could hold off, but they've managed to get the damage to just completely strip them apart. Phantom Dance from Infinity Edge. Quicksilver Sash so he can escape the position reverse. He's just about to build up the the laughing coming out from the hyena.
Yeah.
Just realised. He's just about to build up the last Whisper as well, but looks a bit Slepper. So looking like they are going to try and penetrate, see if they can take one of these inhibitors down. They did take that top turret down, so it would surprise me if they don't use that as the weak point to just try and push in for. And you can see Extinct is still trying to work his way in there. Can he pick off Cotton X, or is he just trying to split push and then suddenly Destiny down towards the bottom or something? See the bottom lane pushing, the mid lane all coming in now, so it's going to happen within the next few seconds, I feel, Trevor.
Well, there's something you should point out as well. I don't know if you looked at how much damage Slepper took from Citizen Wayne's Living Artillery. Citizen Wayne managed to land 2 Living Artilleries onto Slepper, and it dropped him to about 2/3 of his hit points. He was forced to go into the jungle and actually get some life-stealing back off of the wolf camp, because Slepper is just a glass cannon at the moment. He does have the magic resist from the Quicksilver Sash, but when you consider that Citizen Wayne is on near 550 ability power, his every individual living artillery is 330 damage per artillery. It is huge, huge, huge damage. The longer the game goes, the smaller this gold gap becomes, relatively speaking. And Absolute Legends are going to have to try drive home some more map control and take out some inhibitors, or, lock down this next Nasher to win out the game. The more time they give Na'Vi, the more chances they give to throw their own game.
That's it. I mean, they're pushing the minion waves onto Navi. Navi are just farming it up quite happily. They have lost that top turret, but for some reason, Absolute Legends aren't pressuring that point at the moment. They are happy to sit back and wait for Baron themselves. And let's be fair, they have got a 19k gold difference. It's a pretty huge gap, but they can still throw it. The question, oh no, Sun Mansion's going to surely get caught out. Dazzle's going to go through Zinec, and then he's going to dive. He's going to use a breakable will, but it's not going to be enough. Twisty Fate comes in, and Sun Mansion will get caught out horrendously out of position there, just trying to get a ward down on Baron. And I don't think they're going to go for Baron. They're not going to wait it out. They're going to try and push it straight down towards it. No, they've turned around. They'll split decision themselves. They're trying to catch us casters out. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, messing with the heads, messing with the heads. And now the Oracle's lost as well. Sun Mansion, he was wearing that Oracle's elixir. So not only is it another death, it's another 400 gold that they lose. So as if they're not too far, far enough behind. Now we are going to see an Asho. Oh, come on, let's see. Is that going to be coming out? Absolute Legends are moving forward. They know Sam Mansion's not there. Vision from Citizen Wayne is on the right. They don't know they're at the wolf camp. There it comes. There's the Shurelier's Reverie. It's going to be pop 4. The slow from the Voidoos and a whiffed arrow. Slepper missed that one. Panky, he mentioned it earlier in the week that Slepper's arrows normally are not very good. And that's the one he was talking about.
That's a bit harsh, because they did get slowed very nicely
very
there
true.
by Cogmore.
Very
yeah.
true.
So he was just trying to, adjust for the slowdown. Didn't quite adjust enough onto towards Nautilus there. But the Baron has popped, so they're probably going to take this one away without any issue. Because that's what Alistair was trying to do, just trying to get a little bit of vision towards this Baron. But it is going to be a very free one for Absolute Legends. And now they're just going to drive forward. Navi needs to be careful. Oh, look, they think, they sense it. They haven't seen it yet. They might well face check straight into this one. This could be a bad error for Navi. And now I think they've just realised it. I think the eyes just managed to catch on from Citizen Wayne there. Yeah, and they've realised and backed off at the right time. They're going to have to... This is going to be a hard fight for them on this turret.
Yeah, without Baron buff, so far behind in gold, and the fact that now Slepper's going to be split pushing, somebody's going to have to go to defend that top inhibitor, and the second one of the Na'Vi champions moves over, that's it, they're going to lose this mid one. Now Maluno, he's taking Dragon, and once again, Absolute Legends, they're not content to push. Absolute Legends, they look more interested in farming than winning the game at the moment.
Yeah, they've sort of gone back to passive mode, despite the fact they've got Baron on. And this we talk about. If this was Moscow 5, they would be in your face, kicking you in the head. But for some reason, some teams do just back off. But Absolute Legends have had the number of Moscow 5 the last few times, so I'm not going to argue with their tactics. They seem to know what to do, but they are being very delicate about this one. Maybe the second match has just disrupted them a little bit. I'm not too sure. The fact that it's 1-1, the fact that they know if they win this, they're at Dreamhack, that $40,000 tournament. Another one for them to chalk up on it. Ooh, Oh, again,
So
Cotton X
close.
nearly going straight towards it. Slepper could have caught him with an arrow there, you know. He was wide open. He saw him on the ward as well.
Yep. With all this time, with all this passive play from Absolute Legends, it's allowed Warwick to, not Warwick, Cogmore to finish his Void Staff. So now Citizen Wayne currently sitting on 643 ability power. Huge magic penetration. Urgot's managed to finish off his last Whisper, got that Brutalizer. Also sitting on a Giant's Belt and a Ruby Crystal, so we can assume that's going to go towards a Phage, maybe a more of Malmortius. And again, the longer they wait, the longer it's going to go. The damage from that Lichbane proc is so huge on that tower.
Look at Extinct getting hit, shredded down to half hit points there, straight away by Citizen Wave. Even Youngbuck's taking damage, and it's showing, it's visible damage from that ulti. So they're getting outpoked, and again, Zinnet getting caught. The longer they stand in this... the back door. I'm going to say, where's Extinct going from that? He's gone up towards the top lane. He hasn't got the damage. He's not an AD carry. He can't do that quickly. But it is going to cause a problem down the bottom. Can they force their way in there? It did cause Nautilus and Warwick to back away. Will they try and dive on them though? They realise it's a 4v5 fight. Slepper's going to get caught with the anchor. Will get knocked up, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to go towards Youngbuck in the way there. The Ash Arrow does land. He couldn't really miss with that one, but he is going to be very low on health. Citizen Wave trying to survive. Very nice. Cleanses away. Can he manage to land a couple more ultis onto a Slepper? He needs to focus on these two members that are dived in there. Youngbuck headbutting away, and position reverse flashes out there, but Maluna now finally going to get taken down. Can they get the lock on? They back away. The inhibitor does eventually go down, and the turret from Extinct there. So while it was all happening, a great distraction for Twisted Fate. Now they're going to dive towards the bottom turret. Suddenly now they find themselves in all sorts of trouble. Guardian Angel procced by Nezreal on the tower. He will just about come back and back to the fountain, but unfortunately they have lost two inhibitors and a Nexus turret from a horrendous fight.
It started off, which could have been very good. I was trying to wonder why Antigen hadn't actually jumped forward to do that position reverser, but even I'd forgotten about the Quicksilver Sash on Slepper. So even though they put so much damage down into Slepper, Antigen wasn't able to get up there and to pull him back into the rest of the team, because he just knew that the Quicksilver Sash was going to go off. And they just don't have the DPS, not having that standard attack damage carry, not having Warwick fed to be able to deal damage. They weren't able to win that fight even underneath their turret, and what was a 5v4 for the first, the better part of 15-20 seconds. So Absolute Legends.
You've got to realise they had a 20k gold advantage in terms of items, and it was still a very close team fight.
Huge difference. But it comes from those tanky builds. It comes from the fact that Warwick, Urgot, and Nautilus are all inherently very tanky. They built tanky, and it's the reason they lost their fight as well. Had they had a little bit more DPS, or Citizen Wayne was dealing a lot of damage, but they focused him so hard he wasn't being protected to be able to deal that free damage. So Absolute Legends knock Na'Vi down to the lower bracket. It's going to be Absolute Legends against, I believe it's Teamless next. The admins are asking which games we're going to be streaming. Demon, are you off to watch some UFC?
I am. I need to. My Sunday lunch is mid-cooking. I need to go finish it.
Fantastic. Well, go enjoy your dinner. Thank you for joining. Thank you for stopping by. I'm going to throw up a quick ad break, put some music on in the background, and we'll be back with the next game shortly. D-Man.